Hello and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Wendy. Today is September 16th, 2022, and this is Flosstube number 2 for me. My last Flosstube was August 14th, and I had planned to get on here earlier to make another one. We had some life events, of course, like everyone always does. We had a death in the family. That was 2.5 weeks ago. My husband's aunt passed away, and so that took some time to coordinate with funeral homes and everything else, which I didn't have to do the main planning for that, but we still helped out quite a bit. And of course, my husband was working out of town, so I had to get him from the airport and had a family friend come down. And I didn't give a whole lot of my biography last Flosstube because I wanted to just jump into the stitching portion, but I'll run down a little bit. So we are originally from Alaska. We moved to Mississippi 6 years ago. We're at the southwest corner. We're not quite on the coast. We're an hour's drive from Biloxi. We're an hour's drive from New Orleans. And between the two cities, it's a very rural area. We live kind of in the middle of nowhere. We moved down here because my husband's aunt had been diagnosed, it was about 8 years ago, with various forms of cancer. And her elderly parents, my husband's grandparents, moved down here 7 years ago to help take care of her. And we ended up moving down here to also be of assistance and also to be closer to extended family members. The aunt, she did quite well until about 6 months ago. And in April, she was given the news that she only had probably 6 months left to live, and she made it 2 weeks past her 65th birthday. So we know she's in heaven with Jesus, and she's not suffering. She really was suffering a lot the last month, especially. So we take assurance that we will be with her again, and she's happy now. Anyhow, and also right now I am a stay-at-home mom. I've been a stay-at-home mom since we moved to Mississippi. Homeschool 3 children. Have a almost 17-year-old. Next month he'll turn 17-year-old boy named Waylon. I have a 13-year-old girl named Amara, and then our youngest is going to be 9 in 2 weeks, and his name is Gunnar. I feel like I'm an unpaid Uber driver for quite a few of my children's activities that I think that most parents just find themselves in that role. But I'm happy to do so. I really enjoy spending time with my kids. And so I want to say, with all that, welcome to everyone that's stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me. Thank you for all of those who commented and had such kind words to say on my first Flosstube. And I hope that you enjoy what you are going to see today, what I'm sharing with you. I felt like my last video was too long at 45 minutes, so I'm going to see if I can wrap this up in less than 30. I've been busy. I had the chatelaine that I began stretching because I want to frame it myself. I have the frame, I ordered it, and I want to say that was from Custom Frame Solutions. I'll have to double check, but I'll give all the details when I actually get it all completed. But I began stretching that, and it was taking some time just because it's so large, and I just set it aside while we had my husband's aunt's death and everything. I just cleared the table, and I'll bring it back out and get it stretched and I need to also take it to a custom framer to have a custom mat cut. And I don't want just a square. I want it to frame the actual design. So I need to find a custom framer as well that does good work here. The nearest town to us does not have a frame shop, so I'll have to drive 30-40 minutes to find a framer. Okay, so I have a number of finishes though. I'll start with my FFOs, and I apologize to anyone that follows me on Instagram and has already seen these, but I will put them here on Flosstube and get these on the walls or put away until the appropriate season. So first, I had finished the letters from Nora W years ago. The fabric, of course, is not coming through, but it's a very pretty mottled blue with some purples, and it's a hand-dyed heaven piece, and they're no longer in business from what I remember. But I had ordered this frame from pictureframes.com. It brings out the dark brown in the W in her hair. I think it's just called espresso. And I stretched the piece myself. It's anyone that's concerned about stretching their needle art, it's really not difficult. It's just time consuming sometimes. And I didn't put a backer on here, but you can see that I just laced it up, and it's not terribly neat. No one's going to see the back. I'm not concerned about it. So it's done and can be displayed. That's our objective of it all, right? The next piece is by New York Dreamer, and she had showed this in her finishing, and so I got this piece from Hobby Lobby, and this trim came from Purple Paper Mountain on Etsy. And with this, I used all of the called for DMC and Weeks Dyeworks thread. It's super cute, different, and I had posted on Instagram some different choices for trim. I was not sure if I wanted to go with something that's really neutral like this twine, or I had some rickrack or pom-poms that were more this kind of a burgundy or wine color. And ultimately I chose this because there's I want to call it a companion piece, but there's another design that I plan on doing. Sorry about the glare. The No Talkie Before Coffee, and that one doesn't have any other colors charted besides the browns, the neutrals. So I'm going to use the same twine when I stitch that and trim it out one day. I showed my finishes of these children, my last floss tube, and I finished them. They're by a French designer, Couleur de Toile. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly. I found the designs on Etsy, and I will post in descriptions. Her shop. She has a website too, from what I remember. So here are two of them. Let me get the third one. I just think they're so cute. The vintage look. My husband, who is a very encouraging supporter of my stitching, he says it looks like they're pregnant and they have strawberries on their heads. But he had not seen like any vintage cards, and so I had to explain to him it's just the design, because children did used to wear puffy coats like that, and I just think they're darling. And The trims, the pom-poms, I believe, are lady dots. These easels are from Starry Night Studio. She is a finisher, I believe, but she also has these ready-made easels with the backing for sale, and there's a variety to choose from, just like the little boy here, the deer, that's a plaid. And I purchased some more for the lavender and lace freebie angels that I had finished and I showed last Flosstube, but I just need to fully finish. But I was wanting to try to do something that wouldn't take a great deal of time with finishing, because I have so many and I don't know why I've let all my stitching build up, but I have so many finishes that I need to do. I just need to get them done. So the ready-made easels were great to have a base to work off of. All right, this is Mill Hill Buttoned and Beads Fall Beach. This is for my brother and sister-in-law that live in Florida. They don't know it's coming. I'm sure they don't watch this Flosstube, so I need to get this in the mail. These kits are always very fun to me. They stitch up quickly, and sometimes I make little changes. I know from stitching in the past on perforated paper that, like the clouds, they had stitched, or they had charted to stitch with 3 strands of thread, and the perforated paper doesn't have give like fabric, and so I knew it would be too tight and it would be a struggle to stitch with. So I just chose to stitch all the cross stitches with 2 threads. I don't think there was any that called for stitching, just with one strand. The back stitch, of course, but I don't know if you can see all the beads. Of course, there's the pumpkin button, but there's beads on the seahorse, and the pumpkins have beads. So, quick gift. Those are always fun. Alright, and this is You Were Loved by my Big Toe Designs. And let me show you the cover. Had this really cool, it's like a ceiling tile frame, and it was purchased from Hobby Lobby. Of course, this was charted 2016. So when I went to look for that frame, I could not find it. Couldn't find it on eBay or anywhere. And I really wanted a circular opening to showcase the design. I ended up finding these wooden hoop frames from, I didn't bring that information, I don't think. No, I didn't. I want to say it's Stitching Studio, but I'll put it in the description. And it came bare wood. I had my daughter paint it for me. These are simple. All you do is you put your hoop inside this elastic that they have secured here, and I don't think I could slip it out easily because I have it in there pretty tightly. And then also they have these acrylic, you can kind of see there's an acrylic piece here that goes inside, and there's a variety of sizes to choose from. They're not all scalloped. I just like the scalloping on that one. Again, I'll put in description. I sorry I don't have that information. I thought I had brought it with me. Okay, and one last FFO, which is another My Big Toe Design, Refuge and Strength. And this is a frame from Hobby Lobby, and it's one that they also showed on their model picture. And again, I can't remember if I laced that stitching or if I had just secured it with the sewing tape. Is that what it's called? Stitcher's tape, maybe. That it's I purchased a different brand in the past, but I know It's So Emma is a brand that's currently manufacturing it. Right. And let's go to my recent finishes. They're not FFOs. This first is a Peony Bouquet by Samplers Not Forgotten. It's stitched 1/2 threads on, I think this is 36 count putty. It came in the kit. All of the threads came in the kit. And the lighting is not great. I thought my video was really grainy, and so I closed a curtain over here, but now it might be too dark. So I ran out of the pink color, which is, all of the threads are Weeks Dye Works, and I had emailed Kim Nugent, who kindly responded right away, and she gave me the color for it, which on the chart it does not have the colors listed. It just says like pink, dark brown, light brown. Anyway, she let me know the color for it, and I didn't want to wait to finish it, so I ended up just, I didn't have it in my stash either, so I went to DMC and replaced it with 3722 for just one of the flowers. That's all I needed to finish, and I don't think it's detectable at all. It blended right in. And I want to say this was a market exclusive release from this spring, but it is, I don't want to take anything out of the plastic. It's all the fabrics in here. But all the fabric and the trim, the lace trim, came in this kit. So I just need to get my sewing machine out and kit it. I don't have my sewing machine permanently set up anywhere, so it's always one of those you have to bring it out to the kitchen table. Okay, and then my other finishes, these are by La Selva Design on Etsy, and they're on Instagram also, which I think is where I first saw them. This is the fawn French Bulldog. My brother has a fawn, and I thought I would make this into a small pillow for a Christmas gift for him. This is a fabric from Stitches and Stones, which has been out of business for many years. I've had this probably 20 years in my stash. They're originally from Arizona, and I don't know what happened to them, but they had some very vibrant colors. This is a deep chocolatey brown. It's a 32 count in Belfast. And it's just charted with the, stitched with the charted colors. And then this one is the black and white French Bulldog. Same designer, La Selva Design. Used all the charted colors. And this is for my daughter's friend. They have the black and white Frenchies, and this is a 28 count, and the same, I'm going to make it into a little pillow for her. And also, I was going to say, I had tried backstitching the dogs' names, and it just don't look right to me, so I'm just going to leave it off there. It's a small little design. When you try to add some backstitching, it just looked like it took over the design. All right, so at some point I need to do a whip parade because I do have probably 20 whips that I had started during Mania, and I really haven't gotten back to them. I need to, but I have Sunday stitches, and I only picked one Sunday stitch up because I was working on getting that fall beach design ready so I can send it out, and I picked up another piece I'll show you in a minute that occupied my time. I didn't want to put it down. It was fun to stitch on. This is Lindy Stitches Wandering Sheep. Oh, get it together here. So last time I showed it, didn't have his feet, and I believe I added all these words in. And I like stitching on this, it's fun. I thought it would go faster, but when you only work on it one day a month, if that, then you don't make as much progress as you want. And then I have a car stitch. I really didn't work on that a whole lot this month either. I think yesterday was the first day that I worked on it while my daughter was in dance. It's a little bunny. Let me find the, can't tell what it is. I'll find the picture of it. All right, this last one was a new start, and I actually finished one square. I kept it on Q-snap. The finished square is the January block of Carolyn Manning's Crazy Quilting All Year Long. Yes, that's the name of it. Crazy Quilting and Cross Stitch All Year Long. So this is the January block, and I started the February block last night, and I'm going to have to check with the chart because I was falling asleep, and I don't think that extra square on that side belongs there. I'm going to have to do some frogging, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure that doesn't belong there. This is a large piece. There's 12 blocks, so I usually don't stitch these large pieces in Q-snaps, but because I've been rotating them out, I've been stitching with the Q-snaps and not putting them on the frames like I normally stitch on a floor stand with a frame. Here is the, so she has these all individualized, and they're actually stitched because a lot of her design she just puts out the digital image of. I purchased the chart kit, which includes embellishments like the January head beads, the large beads. February's block has buttons. A lot of them have just buttons, but I think the design is like 5.5 square. And also just zooming in on the, is that January? Where's January? So the threads that are in her block are more vibrant than the ones that I had, at least in the blues. But they're the cool January colors. And I really like stitching on these with the blocks of color instead of the confetti. And then that is also stitch on Ada, which I'm normally not an Ada stitcher, but there's not any half, or there are some half stitches, but there's not any quarter stitches. So the Ada worked out fine, and of course it cost a little bit less for such a big piece of fabric, and it's 14 count beautiful beige Ada. So for my plans, I am going to finish stitching that February block of the Carolyn Manning's Crazy Quilting All Year Long, and then I am going to pick up a new start. I'm going to make an ornament for the friend that came down to help with cleaning out some of our aunt's things, and just helping with the funeral, just being here. It was great to have her here, just in support of the family members. And after the ornament, I think I will do my spin the wheel for going back to one of my whips that I have from Mania. And I want to give a shout out to a couple of floss tubers. One is Deb, the traveling stocking stitcher. She graciously shouted me out on her floss tube, and she encouraged me to start a floss tube, and she offered to answer any questions that I had. And she has a great sense of wit and humor, and her stitching is beautifully creative. She started out stitching, but she didn't want to have to frame all of her things, so she has made stockings with designs you wouldn't think would be for stockings. She stitched some lavender and lace ladies, and makes up the names to put on them. It's not so much a name in her family, but just a name to put on the stockings so she can consider it a finish. And then she also shows her travel photos, and she stitches pieces that commemorate her visits to different countries and cities. So it's always fun to see what she's working on and what she shares. And she dived into chatelaines. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she finishes off her chatelaine that she had finished not too long ago. So the traveling stocking stitcher. And then another set of floss tubers that they have a floss tube channel together. It's Running with Scissors, Stitching with Jane and Julie. And they have a very long friendship, and they just they kind of just jab each other with their humor, but they're also so very kind to each other, and it's an endearing friendship, and I enjoy watching the two of them and listening to them. Jane stitches a lot of shepherd's bush, and Julie has beautiful cross stitching, but she designs hardinger, and she does a lot of hardinger and shares those pieces, and they're gorgeous. I've never tried doing hardinger, but I think that if I were to try any, I would order one of her designs. She's a designer also, and she has a website, so quite a bit of expertise there. And I'm going to wrap this up. I made it under 30 minutes. It's clocked in at 28 and a half minutes right now. So thank you again for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend and have some great stitching time. See you next time.